again. Man, I'm glad y'all tuned into the motherfucking Real Nigga Podcast. I just got a couple things I like to start off and say, man. I remember days that I was in the penitentiary and them weak ass guards used to come in that motherfucker with them attitudes, man. It's a lot of people in prison suffering because the CEO some weak ass motherfucker, man. It's a lot of these motherfucking prison guards that go to prison to try to get the respect in prison that they can't get on the streets, man. There's a lot of these weak ass motherfucking guards right now writing a motherfucker up for his pants sagging, keeping that motherfucker in prison 30 to 40 days longer, all because they had a bad day at home and their old lady didn't give them no motherfucking cat, man. I ain't gonna never forget the struggles that I went through being in prison, man. I had them folk kick my motherfucking ass for damn near 7 days straight, man. Them motherfucking police and guards in the penitentiary, man, them folks think they safe, man. A lot of them motherfuckers look at people in prison like don't nobody give a fuck and ain't nobody gonna believe them, man. A lot of motherfucking prisoners write motherfucking letters and send out motherfucking information to help folks believe what they saying is going on in prison system, but don't nobody even blink a motherfucking eye. The best thing that could have ever happened to the world is cameras and cell phones, man. I used to look and laugh and say, why the fuck them fools in the penitentiary with them cell phones out in the open, man? But cell phones are helping solve a lot of motherfucking crime that would have been hid behind closed doors, man. Technology has helped people be held accountable for their actions in the past, man. Because a lot of people don't understand that we live in a world that just didn't start today, man. A lot of things that happened in the past, like the violence against certain ethnic people or certain colors or certain, nationalities, that shit happened in America, man. It's not just happening just because we got Donald J. Trump. A lot of people want to blame presidents and governors for the situation that's going on in the world when them people ain't nothing but just individuals, man. A president can't do nothing that another president ain't set forth in time before, man. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these laws that come in effect was 3-4 presidents in the making, man. 3-4 governors in the making. And a lot of people sit back and they act like that they don't understand that before you can scream you need help, you need to clean up your own motherfucking problems in your communities, man. Because there's a lot of people that's sitting in the communities and they suffering because, guess why? It's a lot of people that shouldn't be living in housing projects and still making babies, man. I think that if you own food stamps and living in the projects and some of the government paying your bills, then you should be limited to 1 child per household, man. If you own government assistance, food stamps, are getting a check once a month and you don't have a job, you should be stopped out to 1 child, man. There's a lot of people in this world that lay around knowing that they a nothing ass person and they lay up with another nothing ass motherfucker and make a nothing ass baby. Then that baby go out in the world and create chaos and rob, steal, and kill at 12 and 13 years old, and everybody don't want to look at the parents. A lot of these parents need to be held accountable for their children's actions because ain't no way that your child supposed to be out in the streets at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and they 12, 13 years old, man. That ain't the first time that they came in and out your house like they was grown, man. And a lot of these people holler out, well, I didn't know that he snuck out the house or she snuck out the house. If you don't know where your child is at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you ain't no good parent, man. Because I don't know about you, man, but when I'm laying up in my house, man, if I hear a step crack, I already know something ain't right. And if I catch one of my children bringing something in the house that they didn't work for or I didn't buy them, then they got to go, man. A lot of people let their children get away with so much until their son or their daughter go out there and kill somebody, man. Then you want to get online and talk about, well, my child was a good baby, knowing your child ain't been to school since first grade, man. Knowing your child been out here breaking and stealing and breaking in folks' cars. I keep telling people, man, don't ever let the chance get away that you could save somebody else's life, man. Don't you ever let that little motherfucker climb in your car window and get away. You let that little motherfucker climb all the way up in your window, and then you light that motherfucker up, and he won't do that no more. You start putting a lot of these young motherfuckers in bags one by one, they'll catch on, man. If you start letting these motherfucking stories end with carjack victim fights back again, these young motherfuckers will know that they playing with the wrong generation before them, man. If a motherfucker stop GoFundMe and helping these motherfuckers bury these nothing ass motherfuckers and make these folks have to bury their own nothing ass kin, they'll catch on not to lay up and make another one of them motherfuckers, man. They will know that you don't play them type of games with a motherfucker in these streets, man. These little young motherfuckers run around these streets and they create straight chaos and they think every motherfucker scared of. When in actuality, motherfuckers sitting back wishing they would cross me, man. Wishing you would come near me with a motherfucking poo shiesty mask or even looking like you're going to do something to me or mine. I'm going to put you to sleep like a straight dog, man. And then when your mammy go online or go on TV talking about, oh my baby, I'm going to go right behind her and say that nothing ass motherfucker wasn't shit. You should have taught your child don't be breaking in folks' houses or taking something that don't belong to them, and they wouldn't be laying in his bag, man. There's a lot of people in this motherfucking world that need to understand that they are the reason that their kids are the way they are, man. There's a lot of parents in this world that need to be held accountable for the actions of their children, man. If your child go out, rob, steal, and carjack somebody, and you knowing and willing and letting that motherfucker run in out your house and do this shit and have gang meetings in your living room on Instagram, then they need to lock your motherfucking ass up just with your child, man. Because if your child do something to my child or my motherfucking wife and he go to jail, I'm going to come knocking on your door and make you pay for his motherfucking sins, man. I'm going to make you pay for your child motherfucking sins that they done to me, man. That's what people don't understand, man. Motherfuckers need to start making people pay for their sins in the streets, man. I don't believe in calling the police, man. I grew up in a generational where everybody police their own neighborhood, and I even hate using the word police. But everybody made sure that motherfuckers didn't break in folks' houses, steal shit from people, rob people. Motherfuckers made sure that people stayed out their community with the bullshit, man. And if you came in my community with the bullshit, them motherfucking gangsters ran you up out the hood because they didn't want you to run their money off, man. Nowadays, these young motherfuckers are so focused on chaos, they ain't thinking about no money. These young motherfuckers ain't even thinking about living past 14, man. The average motherfucking child or juvenile criminal or whatever the fuck you want to call them nothing ass motherfuckers, most of them motherfuckers end up in jail by the age of 13 being tried as an adult by the age of 14, man. That's real shit. And I don't want to hear people hollering out, oh, it's a conspiracy against the black folks, against the white folks. Man, fuck that shit. It's a conspiracy that you didn't keep your legs closed knowing that you was a nothing ass motherfucker and couldn't move your children out of an environment that you couldn't control. Ain't no way that you living in a motherfucking environment where people running around selling drugs and killing folks every motherfucking day, and you make another decision to bring another life into that environment and you ain't even got yourself out of the first motherfucking child out of that environment. It's too many motherfuckers that get away with the excuse and blame their child for their problem when they the motherfucker that done it, man. It's a lot of motherfuckers that drop the ball when it becomes parenting, man. A lot of motherfuckers want to be friends with their kids and not be their parent. It's a lot of motherfuckers out here that don't want to be called grandmama, want to be called G-mama because she don't want to be old. Bitch, you old. It's time for you to lay down and do something productive. Show your grandkids and your daughter that you just wasn't no thought. Why you still want to go to the club and shake your ass with your granddaughter and your talking about 4 generations in the club, y'all? That's 4 motherfucking generations of nutting ass motherfucking hoes. Anytime you find 3, 4 generations of anything living in public housing, them some nutting ass motherfuckers, man. That whole generation, that whole family name is nothing but bullshit. That's real shit, man. Ain't no way that I sit back and I watch the thing that go on the internet, and I know a lot of this shit is wrong. But if I speak up about it, I'm hating. How am I hating when I'm telling the truth or speaking facts about shit that I see that motherfuckers doing that motherfuckers shouldn't be doing, man? That's like when you pull up in Atlanta, Georgia, man, they got signs and billboards of 2 men kissing, talking about to prevent STDs, but they got 2 men kissing. They promoting in Atlanta, Georgia, that man on man and black on black is what they want them to do, man. That shit ain't right, man. I never ever hate on a person for doing or loving who they love. I don't do that. I'm not going to hate on a person for loving who they love, but I do think that it's wrong for people to push grown folk narratives on kids. People's mind has not been developed. People's mind is still in question about their body. I don't understand that. But that's the narrative that people push on these kids nowadays. And they want to say that my content is raunchy because I'm uncut and real. But you got people on the internet, on TikTok, or any other line, Instagram. These folk got 3-4 million followers, and it's men dressing up like women. And then you got these individuals, you telling these folk to send them to schools and talk to kids. I remember when I was going to school, if someone came to school to talk to a child about something, they sent a letter home to the parent and let the parent know, man, look, this type of person's coming and we want to know if your child can be here. If they shouldn't be here, then we ain't going to let them see them. Nowadays, you got children that's already confused in the mind, and they get online and they don't see nothing but they don't see no real men. They don't see no real women. They see women that's got 7, 8 kids talking about they in love with a woman now. They got men online with a full beard and mustache with makeup on. I remember when I was a child, I never understood why them folks censored the TV the way they did. I remember, man, to see a bra commercial on TV was like, wow. Because them folks were trying to censor people, and I was like, they shouldn't be censoring us. But I see that the internet is a poison to the communities of every color and every culture, man. The internet is a poison in every young individual's mind because you can't stop it. Can't no parent stop their child from seeing nothing. You can't even have the first conversation with your child about sex because they got the internet. They got the internet, man. And they gonna take whatever they seen on the internet and put that in their mind and try to process it and think that that's what sex is, and they gonna think that's what being a man is, and they gonna think that's what being a woman is, and that's poison their mind and have them confused. It has so many people in the world that I don't understand why ain't so many people pushing for more censorship when it comes to children. Children, man. But the internet is took over. When they made it so easy for a person to go buy a phone for $10, $15, you can't stop nobody from looking on the internet, man. A child can go in the dollar store and buy a phone and ain't got to be 18 years old, man. I remember a lot of things that you couldn't do as a child in the 80s and 90s that was meant to protect you from predators and pedophiles. That them folks just said, fuck it, let it go now. They don't say, fuck it, let it go now. You know what I mean? You would think that it would be some kind of safeguards up on the internet to prevent kids from getting led down the wrong roads of, not just sexuality, but, cults, predators. It's a lot of people in the world that get on the internet and that's what they do. They prey on people, man. The internet is a tool that a lot of predators prey on kids. It's a lot of people in this world, and people don't understand this, man. A lot of people on these internet, on a lot of these social sites, the reason they ain't got no face on their page is because they're sex offenders. And sex offenders are not allowed to have any kind of social media page, period. But a lot of them have it because social media don't even make you have to have a valid email to start a fucking TikTok. You can start 10,000 TikToks a day if you want to. Them folks ain't verifying no email. They're not doing none of that. There's no safeguards for kids in this world, man. And I ain't gonna never make people think that what you see going on the internet speaks as who black men are. Every black man is different, man. But I tell you this, man. It's a lot of ancestors that fought, black men that fought for a lot of freedoms for their kids not to be judged for their color or their skin. And them same kids are running around out here dressing up as women and they men. I don't know about you. I love my boys and my girls, but when they come through that door, they are what they are, man. If my daughter walked through my door, she know that she is a young girl, man. If my son come through the door, he know he's a young man. I'm not going to let my son come through no front door with no dress on in my house. If he grown, he can do what the fuck he want to in the world, but I'm not going to entertain that shit around my grandkids or no other kids, man. I'm never going to let a child think that I condone what they doing. I might disagree with what they doing, but I'm not going to make a child that's mind is still like a sponge think that that's what a real man is supposed to look like or act like, man. A lot of people dropped the ball when they didn't teach their sons how to be men. And when you got a lot of women that raise a lot of men, they say that's feminine, man. I was raised by a motherfucking woman and I ain't feminine in no kind of way. My grandmama raised me. So I don't want to hear that because a motherfucker was raised up around a whole bunch of women that made you feminine. That ain't true. Because I was raised by 16, I had 16 motherfucking other siblings that was grandkids of my grandmama that we was all raised in the same house. I'm talking about girls and boys. And what not one motherfucking sister came out of damn bunch. What, you know what I mean? Period. It ain't now one of them folk walking around right now with their hand on their hip. I don't know what they might have did behind closed doors once or twice, but ain't now one of them walking around with their hand on their hip right now. Nowadays, you got motherfucking, and I always say that every child deserves to be loved. I never say that every child deserves to be loved. And every child deserves to be loved by someone. But when you got a child that's got two mommies and they making the child call one of the mommies a daddy, that confuses the shit out of me. So I know it's going to confuse the shit out of a child. I was in the store the other day and there was two women in that motherfucking store and both of them looked like men. And it was a 4-year-old little boy running around in the store, and I heard one of the women tell the little boy, "Go find your daddy. Go find your daddy." When he ran up and said, "Daddy, daddy, daddy," it was a woman with some droopy titties with a sports bra on, man. That ain't your daddy, man. That is not the father like Maury would say. You are not the father. Ain't no way you are the father. Two ovaries can't make a baby. Like two hot dogs can't make a baby. You can't make a baby if you got two of the same motherfucking thing, man. Either way it go, if you go to a clinic, somebody gonna give an egg, but somebody gonna have to donate something from outside the door, man. So regardless of what people think, you put yourself in a lot of fucked up situations in the world and people don't even think. I wish that a lot of people in this world would think about their actions before they do things that they do. If you know that you are struggling in life, please don't bring another life in this world to be struggling right beside you, man. If you know you barely feeding yourself and getting by day, why would you bring another life in the world to struggle right beside you? Why? Make better decisions in life and make sure. I don't know. It's probably the reason that sometimes the live keep ending is because they report my page. They report it and then they give it back. They report it and then they give it back. See, that's some trolls. I see it keep flapping. That's TikTok. TikTok, I tell you, a lot of these platforms don't want you to tell the truth and they don't want to hear their truth. They want their straight gospel. They want you to spread venom on people. They want you to threaten people. They want you to talk crazy to people. They don't want, when a person's sitting there and talking knowledge and giving out game and trying to keep people from getting put in a bag and try to keep people from doing things to other people, them folks try to stop you, man. They try to stop you. You know what I mean? That's why every last one of my pages get bounced. Most of the stuff that I report the same news that CNN and TMZ report the same way they reported just to prove a point to TikTok. And TikTok wrote and violated me for insanity, saying that I was spreading lies that could be true. Lies that could be true. So how is TMZ not doing the same thing or CNN doing the same thing on your same platform? You know what I mean? But that's the morning show, man. Catch me tonight at 7. I'm going to start turning up every day, man. But you got to subscribe to my YouTube, man. Voice of the Hood on YouTube. Because TikTok is about to get banned in America. But they might ban me before they ban them in America. So before they ban me, man, make sure you go follow my motherfucking YouTube. Follow my motherfucking YouTube if you like